Ancient Egypt was full of strange traditions, but some stand out more than others. Women in see-through dresses, Cleopatra bathing in donkey milk. These weren't just myths, they were real practices. From shocking fashion to unusual beauty secrets, here are the most bizarre things ancient Egyptians actually did. Number 10. Soaking in donkey milk, ancient beauty at its strangest. Cleopatra, the legendary queen of Egypt, had a beauty routine that would shock anyone today. She bathed in donkey milk. It wasn't just a one-time luxury. She needed around 700 donkeys daily to keep up with her skincare ritual. The belief? Donkey milk could keep her skin youthful and glowing, and she wasn't alone. Poppaea, the wife of Emperor Nero, also swore by it. Ancient Egyptians and even Romans believed that sour donkey milk had magical properties. Packed with lactic acid, it worked as a natural exfoliant, smoothing wrinkles and keeping skin soft. Even Pliny, a Roman author, claimed it could preserve a woman's beauty. Surprisingly, this ancient skincare trick hasn't disappeared. Today, donkey milk is making a comeback in beauty products, proving that some bizarre traditions stand the test of time. Number 9. Ancient monkey force. You think only dogs were used in law enforcement? Think again. In ancient Egypt, monkeys were more than just temple pets. They were law enforcers. Trained baboons worked alongside police officers, chasing down thieves and keeping order in crowded markets. These quick and intelligent animals could restrain suspects, making arrests easier and safer. Tomb reliefs from the 5th dynasty even show monkeys holding thieves while officers moved in to take them away. The Egyptians didn't stop at monkeys. They also trained dogs to assist in security. The Medjay, an elite police force, worked alongside these animals to protect temples and sacred sites. This unusual but effective approach to law enforcement proves how resourceful the ancient Egyptians were. They didn't just rely on humans. They turned to the animal kingdom to help maintain justice and order. Number 8. The truth about revealing dresses. If you've seen ancient Egyptian art showing women in revealing dresses, you might think it was common fashion. But that's not entirely true. These depictions were often seen in banquet and party scenes, symbolizing celebration and the afterlife. Lower-class women, especially maids, wore light, transparent clothing for practicality and comfort in the hot climate. But in reality, this wasn't everyday wear for all women. Upper-class women dressed quite differently. They wore long, elegant dresses called kalasiris, which covered their bodies and reflected their status. These outfits were carefully designed to showcase wealth and sophistication. The contrast in clothing styles wasn't just about fashion. It revealed the deep social divisions in Egyptian society. While art may suggest otherwise, what people wore depended largely on their class, role, and the cultural values of the time. Number 7. Makeup wasn't just for women in ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, makeup was a daily ritual for both men and women. Men weren't shy about wearing heavy eyeliner and bold, painted eyebrows, using kohl made from galena or charcoal. This wasn't just for looks. Egyptians believed it protected their eyes from the sun and kept infections away. As early as 4000 BC, beauty and health went hand in hand, proving that makeup was more than just decoration. Cosmetics were crafted from natural ingredients like malachite for green eyeshadow and ochre for lip color. Applying makeup was often a spiritual act, meant to attract the favor of the gods and symbolize purity. Unlike many ancient societies, Egyptian men took their grooming seriously. Just like women, their dedication to appearance wasn't just about vanity. It reflected status, spirituality, and a culture where beauty was a shared expression of identity. Number 6. Wigs weren't just for fashion in ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, wigs were more than just a style statement. They were a symbol of power and status. The wealthy flaunted elaborate wigs made from human hair or plant fibers, showcasing their high rank in society. Both men and women in the elite class used wigs to emphasize their importance, proving that appearance played a major role in Egypt's strict social hierarchy. But wigs weren't just for looks. They had practical benefits too. In the scorching heat, they protected shaved heads from the sun, while keeping wearers cool with their breathable design. They also helped with hygiene by preventing head lice, which was a common problem. Beyond beauty and comfort, wigs even held religious significance. Priests shaved their heads and wore wigs to maintain ritual purity during ceremonies. Whether for status, health, or spirituality, wigs were an essential part of ancient Egyptian life. Number 5. Royal incest in ancient Egypt. You know about Osiris and Isis, right? The god of the afterlife and his devoted wife? Well, they were also siblings. In ancient Egypt, this wasn't just a myth, it was a model for royalty. Pharaohs believed they were divine, so to keep their bloodline pure, they often married their own sisters. This practice wasn't for the general population, but was common among rulers to maintain power within the family. The Ptolemies took it even further, making sibling marriages a royal tradition to strengthen their dynasty. Even famous pharaohs like Tutankhamun were the result of these unions. To the Egyptians, this wasn't unusual. It was a way to imitate their gods and secure their rule. While strange by today's standards, it was a deeply ingrained part of maintaining the throne in ancient Egypt. Number 4. Ancient Egypt's pregnancy test was surprisingly smart. Forget modern pregnancy tests. Ancient Egyptian women had a different way of finding out if they were expecting. Around 1350 BCE, they used barley and wheat seeds to determine pregnancy. A woman would urinate on 2 separate bags, one filled with barley, the other with wheat. If either sprouted, it meant she was pregnant. Even more bizarre, they believed the first to grow could predict the baby's gender, barley for a boy, wheat for a girl. While this might sound like superstition, modern studies suggest the test was about 70% accurate. The hormones in a pregnant woman's urine could actually encourage seed growth. This method shows how observant and resourceful ancient Egyptian healers were, using nature to understand the human body. Long before modern science, they had already figured out a surprisingly effective way to confirm pregnancy. Number 3. Ancient Egypt's love for exotic pets. In ancient Egypt, pets weren't limited to cats and dogs. Wealthy Egyptians and royals kept lions, cheetahs, and even hippos as exotic companions. These animals weren't just pets, they were status symbols, showcasing power and prestige. Owning a fearsome predator or a rare creature was a way to display wealth and dominance, often immortalized in Egyptian art. Monkeys, especially baboons, were also popular among the elite. Valued for their intelligence, they were trained to perform tricks and entertain guests. Some of these animals even held religious significance, believed to be connected to the gods. Keeping such creatures wasn't just about luxury. It reflected the Egyptians' deep admiration for nature. Their fascination with the animal kingdom blended into their culture, reinforcing their belief in a world where humans and animals coexisted in harmony. Number 2. Shaving eyebrows for a lost cat. In ancient Egypt, losing a cat was like losing a family member. But instead of wearing black or holding funerals, Egyptians had a unique way of mourning. They shaved off their eyebrows. This act wasn't just a random tradition. It was a visible sign of grief and respect for their beloved feline companion. The mourning lasted until their eyebrows grew back, symbolizing the end of their sorrow. Cats held a sacred place in Egyptian culture, deeply connected to the goddess Bastet, who represented protection and fertility. Egyptians admired them for their hunting skills and affectionate nature, believing they brought good fortune to households. Their bond with cats was so strong that harming one, whether accidental or intentional, was considered a serious offense. This unusual mourning ritual shows just how much the ancient Egyptians valued their feline friends, treating them with the same honor as human family members. Number 1. Hygiene and purity in ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, circumcision and shaving all body hair were more than just grooming habits. They were symbols of purity and spiritual discipline. Circumcision, often performed with stone blades, was seen as a rite of passage into adulthood, primarily among the elite and priestly classes. It wasn't just about hygiene. It represented spiritual growth and social status. The practice was deeply rooted in Egyptian beliefs, emphasizing the connection between physical cleanliness and divine favor. Shaving all body hair was equally important, especially for priests who had to maintain ritual purity. By removing every strand of hair, including eyebrows and scalp, they ensured they remained clean for religious ceremonies. This practice wasn't limited to priests. High-ranking officials and even some members of the royal family embraced it as a sign of refinement. These customs highlight how Egyptians viewed cleanliness as essential, not just for appearance, but for maintaining harmony between the physical and spiritual worlds.